Stocks dropped yesterday after Ben Bernanke announced an extension to Operation Twist and cut growth estimates for the U.S. economy. Troubles in Europe continue to have widespread global impact. Spanish bonds pushed higher and manufacturing output is down in China and Germany. I'm Taylor Schrantz, and the morning call starts right now.
Good morning. I'm Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com.
And I'm Jill Malandrino with The Street. And together we bring you the morning call. Scott, we got those Greek elections out of the way, and Ben Bernanke is done speaking. What is the market telling us now?
Market's telling us that you want to read the tape and not the headlines because there's a lot of good action in this market. You could look just real quickly at the chart of the S&P. You'll see we've had a really big move off the lows. Okay, this was your reversal here. We took back the 200-day here. When all the Greek headlines were coming out, everything was falling apart in Europe. You know what? The market held higher. Then finally we extended up into resistance. So yesterday with Big Ben out of the way, you now have a new level to trade against. Let's hope that we could digest here, because if we could digest and hold this 1346 area, go work off this overbought condition, I do think we see higher prices in the market, and I think we get that measured move of about 1390.
Speaking of higher prices, let's move on to the sector spotlight and take a look at my ags, my 2012 pick, Mosaic being my top stock pick.
Before we go to that, we want to talk about the group,
okay,
because I just want to show MOVE. We've talked about MOVE every now and then. What I want to do is just show you the igniting pattern which put this group in play, which ignited a lot of the stocks Jill have been talking about. So if you look here, this is when you had a very big breakdown in the overall sector. Then you had this lower level pivot, and we kept talking about what's going to wake up this group. Jill's been saying third, fourth quarter is going to be awesome. We're getting close to it, and here they are starting to ignite. So it ignited above this downtrend. The agricultural sector right here, if you want to buy the whole thing, I think you could buy the MOVE versus 48 with a little digestion. It gets above this area, which is what, 48.69 for a MOVE. I would say back to this 50 area. Now within that group, you're going to have your favorites, and your favorite right now is
Mosaic, right? I mean, the group altogether, the valuations historically and also from a replacement perspective, they're so incredibly cheap. All the metrics are really lining up well. We have crop numbers coming in way lower than originally expected because we've had such huge drought conditions across our country. Russia, we've seen some pretty poor weather. South America, even in Europe as well. So that means you need more fertilizer input. It's a basic supply-demand story, guys. Again, Mosaic, my top pick.
And lately, it's acted very well tactically. We've been talking about waiting for that setup, and I think we were on a few weeks back when it had that red dog reversal. So if you want to look here at the chart, this is what we're talking about. This is why we like this pattern, because it gives you a great entry. If you look here on this reversal day, when it broke below the lows, came back up, that was your technical buy besides, buying a tier 1 on this dip. Then you had a quick move off the lows, which was then maintained. It showed commitment to this level. So if you miss this move off the lows, that's fine. We were talking about buying versus 47. And then look at this momentum. It traded through this downtrend and beelined it all the way up to this area. So this sharp move off the lows tells me we can see higher prices. With a bit of a digestion here, just like the markets, if it holds above this, 51.51, I think that traders will be looking for more momentum through this level to what is a bigger downtrend right around 56. So if you want to take a macro look at Mosaic, it looks like right now the easy move can continue to this downtrend of about 56, and then probably around the fourth quarter when the whole group starts acting even better, you could get your move to your target, because I think you said your target is what?
65 for 2012.
Well, 65 comes in right here, so there you go. So,
well, it doesn't hurt that Goldman Sachs, that's their top pick, as is CF within the group. Let's take a look at potash, another one trading that tight potash phosphate market.
Yeah, and this one also is underperforming, but it woke up. You want to look for igniting bars to get involved, and I see igniting bars everywhere in this group. And if you look here at POT, you will see that finally, look at the size of this move that you saw the other day. Okay, this was a big move off the lows. Here's where you had your reversal bar, your outside day, never broke below it. So this was your tier 1 if you were looking for that. And if you missed that, here's your igniting bar. So it ignited, it's up off the lows. This is a laggard type play. It's not a leader. And if you didn't follow sell rules, you held through what has been a mess to the downside. So if you're not in this mess, here is where you could be rewarded for cash flow. Buy versus 40, I think that this stock could at least see, 44 to 47, with this ag move.
Moving along to Monsanto, ticker MON. That's been a real outperformer within the group.
Well, this one provided leadership. And we've talked about it as an investment. This one has been best. This has been like a macro hold. And if you look here at MON, I haven't looked at it in a few days, but yep, there you go. Yeah. You know, if you're an investor, you haven't really been too worried about this, even as the group underperformed. It's above the moving averages. It's showing leadership. At this point, I think this is a candidate for new highs. 82 will be that level of resistance that it has to power through, maybe on the report. The upper level here is about 78. So as long as it holds this upper level of 78, I think short-term guys will stay with this. And anyone looking for momentum, you could be a buyer above 82.
All right, Goldman's other favorite, CF. This one reclaimed 3 key moving averages within 3 days. So it's been, absolute performer. Again, these global supply and demand metrics are really starting to light up. So.
Well, with this one, it looked perfectly set up a few months back, and then it failed. So that gave you your sell signal. So if you followed your sell signal, you could then look for a cash flow buy signal. So if you go to the chart of CF, you will see, last time we got really excited about this one is when it broke out above this area because it made new highs. But then look what happened. It failed real quick. And then if you got out of the way when it broke this trend, you had the luxury of buying back into support. Okay, at this particular point, it did ignite. It did reclaim all of its moving averages. It just had a big 2-day move. So I would say as long as it shows commitment above this 175, which it did yesterday, a little sideways action, and traders will be looking to be a buyer of this thing above 181.44 for a move back to where this congestion is.
All right, let's wrap it up with AGU. This one's had a real monster move here. Its analyst day was last week. They just guided at the top end of the range. They took up their dividend 120%. This thing, again, like the group, really firing on all metrics here.
Well, this one, I would say, is in the have section. It's near the highs. It didn't give investors as much grief as some of the other ones that fell apart. This, too, is, I would say, in the game to make new highs if this group is going to get stronger. And you need leaders to break out in order to be a catalyst for the rest of the group to come up off the lows. And I think that's the CEO of AGU. No,
there
it's
you
not
go.
this. No, it's on the.
Hi, Mom.
There you go. Anyway, you go to the chart of AGU and you will see that here we are coming back into old resistance. We just had a pretty big move off this 75 area. So it's got to digest, just like, again, like we've been saying in the market. The theme, I think, the next few days is how do we digest? And if you look here at this stock, it's digesting at the major highs. You can take a closer look here, which you'll see that it's above the moving averages. You had a big 2-day move. The moving averages have to catch up a little bit. It held at 50% of yesterday's last move. So if it stays above yesterday's low of about 85 in this area, you're going to see a lot of pent-up momentum. You're going to see a lot of shorts get scared, and then you'll get a nice move through that 88 here on AGU.
Well, we also have the big catalyst coming on June 30th with the USDA crop report. So hopefully we'll see them take down their numbers a bit, which will increase the supply demand again for my ag names. We're going to jump into a quick commercial and dive into the trenches.
Hi, I'm Sean Hendelman, CEO of T3 Live, where we train, coach, and mentor traders in order to help you put your money to work with confidence. The T3 Live approach is a blueprint for you to recognize, adapt, and ultimately take advantage of different market conditions. To begin your training with T3 Live, we would like to offer you the opportunity to enroll in our free 30-day online home study course. Fill in your name and email address, and I'll see you on the other side.
Welcome back to the Morning Call. We're going to dive into the trenches and take a look at S&P names at 52-week highs. Recall, guys, we had the S&P rebalance last week. We have the Russell rebalance coming on this Friday, and the last trading day of the second quarter is June 26th. Don't forget, we have T+3. Let's kick it off and take a look at TJ Maxx. This is a name that Kramer and Stephanie have been buying really well. They're starting to take some off the table and invest it in some new names, but this stock looks pretty good right now.
What I like that we're doing with this sector or with this in the trenches is showing you that there are stocks that are going to outperform. There are stocks that if you pick them, they're at new highs and you can make money no matter what market you're in. And they did a great job with TJX. If you look here at the stock, you will see it had a monster run. It's look where it came from. It's been following the trend. It's been hugging the 8 and 21 day, not even getting near the 100 day or the 200 day. So it shows you relative strength. And now it's at highs. So trimming some would be key. I don't think as a trader there's a real trade here anymore. As an investor, I just think trail some, book some, and move on. Good job picking that one.
Right. Another position that we're putting some money into work, I think it's our largest consumer name, is Costco.
Costco, we talked about this too, and had a very buyable pattern last time we looked at this. If you look here, this stock is almost trading like a tech stock. Last time we talked about it was when I think it went above this lower level pivot and was flagging. Look what's happened since. You have a flag, move higher. Flag, move higher, and now it's right near the old highs, and I do think it can continue. It's above the 8-day, it's above all the moving averages. It tried to break through right around here, giving a small sell signal, but I don't think it's that heavy of a sell signal because of the move that it just had. So as long as it stays above this 91 and goes sideways, if you want to take a macro look at it, it looks like it's going to, make new highs, and this one has been an unbelievable trade in the last few weeks.
Well, 52-week highs, we get 52-week highs sometimes.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at a managed care name, UNH. We're going to hear a lot more about these, especially going into the election in November, but we saw a lot of options activity in this name in particular this week.
Yeah, and this one I don't typically trade, but what's important here is you're seeing different names in different groups. That's why you want to be in the leaders, because they could make new highs. It doesn't matter what sector they're in. It all depends on the name and how technically it's acting. If you look at UNH, you will see last time it ignited was right around here. It crossed this level. It's been methodically following the 8-day moving average now, pausing right here. I would say short term, as long as it stays above this 59-ish area, it could continue to move. I personally don't think you should be chasing this one after this, huge move all the way to the highs here. But if you're an investor, you haven't had much to worry about. It's been following this uptrend and hasn't broken it, and stay with it as long as that continues, because the trend is your friend, and it's been here in UNH.
All right, let's take a look at another healthcare name, CVS. This is also kind of like healthcare and consumer, so it's really a good measure of the overall market as well.
Okay, let's take a look. CVS, something that I haven't looked at in a while, and unfortunately, I should have been, because this too has been trading very well. This too looks like it's about to break out above another level. This macro chart has shown you it's above the moving averages. Last time you had a really good macro buy was right around here when it cleared resistance. So if we take a closer look, you'll see right now it's trying to get above this area. It's trying to get above this 46 but from 43 all the way up here, it's going to need some time. It doesn't look like it's like a clean trader. So it's very, very choppy, but as an investment, it was worth holding. And at this point, just like anything that goes through new 52-week highs, I say you book some and you trail some.
All right, let's wrap it up with eBay. And also, whenever we're done wrapping that up, tell us how you typically trade going into the end of the quarter. There's some patterns that you see each time we close it out.
Well, what people like to do is they like to have the best acting stocks on their books, and they also like to get paid a little bit of a bonus based on their performance. So there is some type of a vested interest in having strong stocks close stronger. So with about a week left in the quarter, and with, you said T+3 is Tuesday, today is only Thursday, you could see some more strength in these names. So if you look at something like eBay, this stock we've talked about so many damn times, was a great trade above this 41.60, and it was a great accumulate as it held this earnings gap. We talked about that so many times. It's above all the moving averages, following all the rules. At this particular point, obviously I hate to say the same thing, but book some, trail some, and at this point, if it could just hold above this area and flag again, some guys will be looking to add just for some momentum, and that momentum level is above 43.94 for additional gains. But as it goes higher, you just trade a little less, because you never want to ruin what's been a good trade.
Well, I'm curious to see how we wrap up Q3, because in Q1, tech names really led the charge. Now we saw more consumer names hit 52-week highs, so I'm curious to see what sector is really going to outperform as we go into Q3. But we're here to make some quick cash with quick hits. Let's kick it off with Apple.
Yeah, Apple's been acting very well. We had a nice trade when it took back the 50-day moving average. We started talking about it at like 571, 574 again. You could even been in it since we talked about it at the 100-day, because it never violated any of the rules. So if you look here at Apple, you will see, take a look at the chart. Last time it came, right here, right at the 100-day. This is when I think I went over it with Kramer, that it was a macro buy above this area, and that area was 543, if I do remember. And since then, it's been a little choppy, but it's been slowly grinding higher. At this particular point, it took back the 50-day. I think for some momentum players to get excited, to add to positions, it's going to have to get through this 590, and through 590, there's a small little gap there to be filled up into about 600 there. And then there's no reason why this year it can't make new highs and reach 750 or so. All
right, let's take a look at another tech giant, Microsoft. They announced their iTablet, I guess would be competitive with the iPad. I don't know, that's going to be pretty big thing to overcome. But.
Yeah, as long as it's not another Zune.
Oh, God.
Anyway, I have to give kudos to Sperling, because we picked this out earlier in the year as, I think this was my mega cop favorite. I had like 4 favorites. Microsoft was the mega cap favorite. Retail was Walmart. High beta was Google. Obviously, that one's not acting well yet. But anyway, he talked about buying this on the 200-day. And sometimes strategically, you have to add, at those moving averages because it held the 200 days. So if you look now, you will see that, this is when he was talking about it in the virtual trade floor in the chat. Nice little pickup. If you missed it there, technically it gave you a nice trade when it broke above this resistance right here around 30. So I think by it digesting and holding the upper level here, you're seeing some commitment to this. So if you're in Microsoft, I think stay there. I do think it's still in the game to make new highs. It changed character this year once it broke above this descending channel here. Remember, we talked about this in the beginning of the year. Once it broke above 27, I said Microsoft's getting frisky, and Margaret Brennan laughed at me.
Right. But you never think of momentum in Microsoft in the same sentence. Right. So that was an awesome call.
But it happens with these mega caps at base. Like I know Microsoft, it took 7 years or so for it to get in the right hands and get the shares out of the way. The same way it took a decade for Walmart to trade in that range to absorb the first move in the 90s. So anyway, Microsoft, it seems like it's back in play. It's one of the chosen ones. Don't chase excitement in this one. Buy the dip. I think you could stay with it.
All right, let's check out one of your other go-to names, Las Vegas Sands.
This one's been a disaster, actually. This one started to weaken, when all the China talk started to weaken. So if you got, stopped out of this when it broke the key moving averages, or broke, I think in my head, we were talking 56. You now could look at it. I've been trying to play for a little bit of a bounce type play. If you look here at the chart, you will see, that there's a reason for it, to be in, or at least on your game plan. This is when it broke 56. This was that little outside day. So now it's trying to hold 44. As a trade, it's been a little aggravating because there's been no follow through. I think 5 times the Macau numbers have been lowered, but it's still holding. So if you got out of it here and you think that it's going to get some cash flow, I will be looking at this. If we could start getting above 46.80, I think there's a nice little cash flow move back to this 48.90 to 50 zone. And if the Macau numbers aren't as slow as every single wirehouse is saying, you could see a bounce back to about this 53 area.
All right, let's wrap it up. Speaking of Walmart, take a quick look at that chart. And that was also Vanessa's addition to our quick hits. So thank you, Vanessa, for pointing that one out to us.
All right, well, there are times to be in these names, and we took like thousands of days of pain because I don't think I've talked about Walmart in years. And then I was looking at the chart and I said, oh, look at this base here in Walmart. So if you look here at Walmart, you will see, first of all, in the daily chart, it's had a monster move and it's closing at highs, showing you that you can make money in any kind of tape. If you look at the monthly, the reason why I got excited about it is because, look at the consolidation it went through from what, 1998 to now. First of all, you think a mega cap takes time to digest, and obviously the first move that it had from here in the 90s went all the way to, what was this? This was
2000-ish?
Yeah, this was like 68. So here, as frustrated as everyone was, it really acted very well on a monthly chart. So then, I listed it as a breakout candidate if it got above, I think, like 52. And now if you go back to the daily chart, you will see that it's on its way to the target, which I do believe was around 70. So, it's still on the move. It's hard to chase, but just don't short the underlying strength.
All right. Well, on that note, don't forget, catch Scott at the end of the day as he wraps up the charts of the market for us on T3Live.com. Options, profits, and real money. Have a great day trading.